Holy cow, we did it. We made it to 1 million subscribers. A huge shout out to all of you for watching and subscribing. I truly couldn't have done it without you and my awesome team. I am truly so appreciative to each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for watching, and now back to your regular scheduled programming. Stay healthy, my friends.
Tori Yorgi was just about to start a live report on havoc caused by the icy weather.
Oh!
When she became the story.
Baseball strikeouts, truly getting clocked, and a new way to fall in love. Today, we are breaking down and reacting to all of the wild medical scenes and abrupt injuries from moments before disaster. It goes without saying, but please do not try any of these situations at home. All right, let's dive right in. Oh! So he hit like his forehead, maybe a little bit side. So the forehead's actually really thick, thank goodness. 14-year-old's brain is nice and full inside that skull, inside the cranium there. The likelihood of having a coup counter coup injury and ripping of your bridging veins and causing a subdural is low. More concerned about, hey, could you cause a bleed inside, a bruise, or a skull fracture? Could happen, but it's pretty rare. He's into it. Look at that guy in the back. Boom. Oh, man. Got hit in the temple. Probably not causing any significant injury, but you can pass out. You can actually have whiplash injury. You can have a cervical fracture because of the movement. You'll have muscle strain and sprains. Basically, treatment for this, if there's nothing detrimental, it's just ibuprofen or naproxen or Tylenol. Oh! How many times does that happen to somebody out there? It looks funny, but my brain goes, okay, hip fracture, wrist fracture. Those are the most common injuries that you'd see with this type of fall. Hip fracture more in the elderly population, unlikely a hip dislocation. Typically, if it's a hip dislocation, we're putting that thing back in as quick as possible.
It's safe to assume that we all have that one friend who just gets a
You got to be careful with those type of falls because you're just not expecting it. And your full body weight's going down. Full weight of a human being is actually quite heavy. If I'm not helping support that, that's a lot of weight. Think about that. All that going down, whiplash injuries, you can dislocate or fracture something pretty easily. She bounced. You can have even chest trauma. Luckily, she bounced right back up and looked okay. Oh! Broken nose or a black eye or concussion, whiplash injury. These are all things that could happen. Just depends where that door clocked them. Sometimes when somebody, smacks and cracks their nose, they break the nasal bone. They typically will break either by non-displaced fractures or displaced fractures where they actually shift side to side.
Texting and skateboarding?
Oh! Falls right on his elbow. You can have an olecranon fracture where that's the pointy part of your elbow, snap right off, or you can have a dislocation. A lot of times, most dislocations occur by going posterior, going backwards, so the elbow sticks out even further. Seemingly hard to put in, but actually they end up being quite easy if you just have the right technique. Oh! Oh, right in the mouth. That's how you lose teeth. That's how you fracture a jaw. That's how you break a nose. A lot of times we'll see people get hit in the mouth like that. It'll hit the lip. The lip will get lacerated. You may have a through and through laceration. Obviously sew it up. We'll probably put you on antibiotics because of the mouth bacteria. We'll stabilize the teeth, but at that point you gotta get to a dentist. Unlikely that you're gonna fracture the mandible. More likely the maxilla and the nose. Oh. Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. The things you think about hypothermia in this instance. You guys definitely got to check out the video that I'm doing ice plunge in every day for a month where I'm exposed to cold water, but I'm only exposed for a very short period of time and I warm up thereafter versus going in cold water with your clothes on, and then are you in the middle of nowhere, so the potential of increasing your risk of hypothermia. So get those cold, wet clothes off. The first thing you worry about is the cold reflex when you get in the water because it causes you to gasp, and as you go down into the water, you don't want to gasp at the same time that you might be actually going under because then you're going to swallow water.
Tori Yorgi was just about to start a live report on havoc caused by the icy weather.
Oh!
When she became the story.
We see a lot of people get hit by cars. Luckily, this was low speed, just got knocked over. Hopefully, no limbs went under any tires because that's a big thing we worry about even at low speeds. You can obviously deduce that if somebody's getting injured at high speeds, you're going to have a lot of injuries. But at low speeds, it's definitely variable. Is that a bear trap? That looks like a bear trap. Is that a bear trap? Please let me know. Oh, what if for some reason something happened in one of your joints? Sometimes things don't function as well as they should. They get stuck, they click. But this is why I have a job, because people do activities like this, even if you're a professional or not, and end up getting injured. So please do not ever attempt this. What was that kid thinking? Burning yourself on an iron, obviously you pull away pretty fast, but it can cause first degree, second degree, and even third degree burns if you leave it on there. Obviously unlikely fourth degree burns unless you're comatose and you don't know you're getting burned, but it's super hot and can burn through flesh pretty easily. Oh, fingers. Oh! What would happen there? You'd get crush injuries to your fingers that get wedged in between. So we'll get x-rays. You probably have some bleeding because it crushes the tissue and probably rips it open. Distal tuft fracture, or you can just have a fracture of the distal phalanx. Clean it out, sew it back together as best we can.
When office space is a little cramped at work, it can often feel like the walls are closing in.
So you get hit in the back of the head. You can have abrupt fracture to the cervical spine, one of those bones. You can have a fracture where even just the force causes your tendons and ligaments to pull the muscle off. And then obviously if it hits your head too hard with too much force, you can have a concussion, skull fracture, or an intracranial bleeding injury.
There are a million different ways to clear excess snow from the roof of your house. This is just the most painful.
Oh, probably quite painful, but the other thing you worry about is suffocation. If you get buried in snow, literally that's how people die in avalanches, where they get buried in snow. Even if it's like an inch below the surface, it forms a potential cocoon that you can't get out of, and there's no oxygen getting in. You don't know which way is up, which way is down. It's very, very scary.
These workers are so lazy. They just lost.
Oh! Whoa! That could have been so bad. You got to be really careful being that high up. It can cause compression fractures, can cause concussions, intracranial bleeding, all that stuff. But think about falling that height. So if you fall from that height, that looks like 5 stories, right? Much greater than 3 times your own height. So falling at that level, it's probably going to be deadly.
In 2013, he performed the stunt that cost him his life when he flipped off a 16-floor building but failed to land safely.
So you see people do parkour all the time, as I have said before, greater than 3 times our own height, significant increased risk of deadly injuries. So if you don't fall appropriately, you land in the wrong way, it could literally kill you. Please be careful. An injury that would take your life from this, it would be related to either your brain or some sort of pulmonary cardiac issue relating to your lungs or your heart due to a fall. A lot of these things are just unfortunate. Please be aware of your surroundings. Please don't put yourself at increased risk of injuring yourself if you don't need to. If you guys enjoyed this, definitely check out this playlist right here. Make sure that you binge watch everything. And as always, please make sure that you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.